We're entering the thick of Texas high school football season, and things are only heating up. These are the picks. Welcome into the Picks, your guide to Texas high school football weekend. My name is Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Week 3 was supposed to be a relatively slow week in Texas high school football, but this sport has a history of surprising you. We had a number of big-time upsets that kind of shook up the state rankings anywhere you looked across the Lone Star State, and that has us really excited about a big Week 4 slate of games everywhere you look, including a number of key district matchups and some opportunities to really find out if teams are contenders or pretenders. We start in Tuscola. 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Indian Stadium in Tuscola. It is a 2A versus 3A clash as the Cisco Lobos visit the Jim Ned Indians. What are the keys to this matchup? Key number 1, Cisco's young core. Cisco's off to a 3-0 start with their multiple eye offense, and that might be a little bit surprising, especially considering Coach Kevin Stinnett's squad has a number of young pieces at key spots. Quarterback Hunter Long, just a junior. Their top running back, Trent Houston, also a junior. Now they have some veteran players on that offense as well, but the heavy lifting from the skill position spot has been done by juniors, underclassmen. They're off to a great start. They are up against a big challenge this week against this Jim Ned defense led by Tanner Hussman. So, can this Cisco offense keep humming, or will Jim Ned find a way to slow this young core down? Key number 2, the X Factor. And the X Factor here is Xavier Wishart, the running back for Jim Ned. The 3A cover boy in Dave Campbell's Texas Football is off to a relentless start in their 3-0 run. He's run for more than 550 yards and 7 touchdowns in their first 3 games and shows no sign of slowing. I mean, plain and simple, he looks like one of the very best players in Class 3A. We saw that last year on display in their state championship win. Now, he's up against a very interesting and I think physical Cisco defense led by Dawson Hearn at the middle linebacker spot, the reigning district MVP. I think that's a big clash, is what's going to happen when this front 7 for Cisco goes up against Xavier Wishart in this grinding running attack. So, can Xavier Wishart be the X factor in this game? And key number 3, close call. For Jim Ned this season, they're 3-0 and they're kind of been ho-hum wins, right? Kind of blown out their first 3 opponents, as you would expect from the number 1 team in 3A Division 1. For Cisco, hasn't been as easy. Now, they've been playing good teams, but their last 2 games, they've needed overtime. They went to double overtime in their win over Wall, and then last week, they needed overtime to beat Breckenridge. So, they have some experience in close games, but they've also not been able to pull away from their opponents. So, if this game is close late, is that an advantage for Cisco? Who am I picking? I'm going with Jim Ned. Being at home certainly helps, but I think they also have the single individual best playmaker in this game in Xavier Wishart, who's also a defensive star, and that's where I really want to focus here. I think this Jim Ned defense may be underrated, or at least underappreciated. We pay so much attention to the running game and the offense and what Coach Matt Fanning has done there offensively, but I think their defense is really stout and really strong, and that might be the difference in this one. I think this has a chance to be a low-scoring slugfest and a really physical matchup out there in the big country, but I think Jim Ned has the edge. Give me the Indians. How about a district matchup in the District of Doom? 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Eagle Stadium in DeSoto. It is an 11 6A clash as the Duncanville Panthers take on the DeSoto Eagles. What are the keys to this matchup? Key number 1, the Panthers' growing pains. So week 1 was not super awesome for Duncanville as they got their doors blown off by Mater Dei, a school out of California who probably needs no introduction. They're an all-star team out of California, but playing some of the offense kind of got exposed in that one. You know, last year, they were so reliant on what Roderick Daniels did. He was such a big-time game changer for them, and I think that this Duncanville offense is still kind of finding its way with new quarterback Solomon James and their running back Malachi Medlock. Now, they're going to get going, and last game against South Oak Cliff, they looked a lot better offensively, but there are still some offensive growing pains. So, can DeSoto make those growing pains worse, or will Duncanville figure it out offensively? Key number 2, DeSoto's home runs. I think if the Eagles are going to win this game, they've got to hit a couple of big plays, and they can do that. They've got 5 touchdowns of 20-plus yards this year, with quarterback Matt Allen hitting guys like Mike Murphy and Jonte Cook, a talented receiver core there at DeSoto. They've got a huge test on their hands against one of the most dangerous defenses in all of Texas. For Duncanville, led by Amari Abor and Jordan Crook, this defense can absolutely fly and take you out of whatever game plan you have in mind. So, can DeSoto hit a couple of big plays, or will Duncanville snuff them out? In key number 3, Reginald Samples chases history. So it could be a really special night in DeSoto if Duncanville were to win. Reginald Samples, the coach there at Duncanville, is sitting on 299 wins. A 300th win would make him the 13th coach in UIL, Texas high school football history, to win 300 games. And it would make him the first black coach to accomplish that, which resonates certainly in the state of Texas. Now, DeSoto would love nothing more than to deny Coach Samples that milestone and get a critical district win. But make no mistake, there's going to be a lot of eyes on the sideline in this one because of the history that could be made. So, plain and simple, can Reginald Samples reach that milestone? Who am I picking? I'm going with Duncanville. I give the edge to the Panthers because I think that defense is good enough to keep them in pretty much any game, even if their offense is scuffling a little bit here at the beginning of the season. I'm telling you, Amari Abel, Jordan Crook, this Duncanville defense is nasty, and I think they're going to be able to flex their muscles a little bit on Friday night. I don't think DeSoto is going to be able to drive on Duncanville, which is why I think that it's going to be really important for quarterback Matt Allen to take care of the football and hit a couple of big plays over the top, take the top off of this defense. Now, these are two teams that don't like each other. These are a big rivalry matchup, two teams that are not particularly fond of one another, and it could get a little bit chippy out there. I think this game is close, but I do think that Duncanville wins it, and I think that Reginald Samples makes history. Give me the Panthers. Let's go to Golden Triangle, 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Curtis Barbay Field in Newton. It is a 4A versus 3A clash as the West Orange Stark Mustangs take on the Newton Eagles, and this feels like a game we're going to learn a lot about both of these teams. You know, West Orange Stark took that Week 1 loss to a good 5A Nederland team, but we don't really know a ton about Cornell Thompson's Mustangs this year. I think the same can be said for Newton. You know, they've blown out 3 teams that I think they're just frankly better than, and have kind of rolled past them. This is a really big test for both of these sides. All eyes, I think, are going to be on the Blue Link defense for West Orange Stark going up against DeAnthony Gatson and this ferocious Newton rushing attack. What happens when those two get on the field? I think this game's going to be a lot of fun. I give the slight edge to Newton. 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Jack Lane Stadium in Poth. It's a state-ranked matchup between the Shiner Comanches and the Poth Pirates. You know, Poth is off to a really hot start this season, cracking the top 10 in Dave Campbell's Texas football thanks to a relentless defense. Trevor Fuller at the linebacker spot leads the Pirates defense, and they're going to get a big test this week against the defending 2A Division I state champs in Shiner, led by that terrific running game with Dalton Brooks and Doug Brooks. I think this game's going to be a lot of fun, and I actually think this game has a chance to be a real low-scoring slugfest. I don't see this game getting into the 30s or 40s or anything like that, but I do think this game's going to be a lot of fun. I give the edge to Shiner. And 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Highlander Stadium in Dallas. It is a big-time 6A versus 5A clash as the Rockwall Yellow Jackets visit the Highland Park Scots. Highland Park has lost 2 games at Highlander Stadium since 1998. Yeah, it's that serious, but I think that they have a big test on their hands this week against one of the hottest teams in Texas, the Rockwall Yellow Jackets, as quarterback Braden Locke and wide receiver Noble Johnson put on a show last week against Lake Travis. This is another huge test for this young Highland Park defense. Now, it's also a big test for the Rockwall defense, which has been okay, it's been good enough, but they got a big test in quarterback Brennan Storr and this Scots offense, which I think is really starting to hit its stride. I think this game's going to be really interesting, and believe it or not, I can't believe I'm saying it, I'm going to pick against Highland Park at home. Give me Rockwall. But those are far from the only big games in Week 4 of the Texas high school football season. Let's get to the lightning round. I like Vanderbilt Industrial over Tidehaven. I'm going to go with Canutillo over El Paso del Valle. And I think Austin LBJ stays hot. I think they beat Liberty Hill. Vidor over Bay City. I'm going with Divine over Pleasanton. And I think West keeps it rolling with a win over Rogers. I'm going with Huffman Hargrave over Navasota. Give me Spearman to take down Vega. And in a surprise matchup of unbeatens, I like McCamey over Forsan. I'm going with El Dorado over Wink. Give me Lovelady to take down Normandy. And Brian Rudder beats Port Lavaca Calhoun. I'm going with Cuero to beat Geronimo Navarro. Give me Childress to take down Shallowater. And I like Mason in a real close one over Wall. I'm going with San Antonio Southwest Legacy to get by Del Rio. Give me Wichita Falls Rider over Odessa. And in a matchup of 2 teams that made big headlines in Week 2, I like Humboldt Atascocita over Denton Geyer. I like Gilmer to get by Lindale. Give me Houston C.E. King over Huntsville. And McAllen beats Brownsville Veterans Memorial. Battle of unbeatens in the San Antonio area, I like San Antonio Taft over San Antonio Marshall. And in the 590th meeting between Argyle and La Vega, give me Argyle. Holiday takes down Bells, and in our six-man game of the week, it's a good one. Battle of unbeatens, I like Jayton over Valley. And those are the picks. What am I wrong about? Which games did I leave out? Leave comments down below. Don't forget that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/DaveCampbells. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/DaveCampbells. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Thanks for watching. Enjoy Week 4 of the Texas High School football season. We'll see you.